Dear Father Perry and my dear friends, once an evangelist was preaching on today's gospel passage of St. Luke, and he was warning his audience about the eternal damnation. On the day of judgment, he said, there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. An old lady who was there in the front raised her hands and asked Pastor, sorry, I got no teeth. What to do? Then the pastor said, don't worry. On the day of judgment, teeth will be provided. My dear friends, today's gospel is telling that someone asked Jesus, Lord, will only a few people be saved? And the reply of Jesus was a indirect answer. He wants us to understand that the important thing is not to know how many are saved, but to know what must we do to save us. There are some who are very fond of statistics, but entrance to heaven is not by mathematical calculations. What is important, as I said, is to know that if I am going through the right path that is leading me to heaven, to my salvation. And we cannot delegate anyone to do it. No one will be saved by force or by chance. It is not enough to be a baptized Christian, but it involves a transformation of our lives, making a sincere effort to resemble Jesus, who went everywhere doing good and loving. Let us try to live our lives with great responsibility, because the salvation is something serious for which Jesus has paid greatly. At the same time, let us not be conditioned by our past that we can no longer change. Also, without distressing about the future, which is in the hands of God. Let us lead a life trusting in His mercy and love. Let us apply the saying of Mother Teresa of Calcutta, which is a pure gospel. She said, let no one who approaches you return without becoming better and happier. Friends, let us try to leave a positive mark on all the people with whom we interact. Now, my dear friends, let me say something about me and about the mission, what we do in the north of India. I am, as it was said, my name is Father Varghese Cheriyakadavil. I am a discalced Carmelite priest. I belong to the order of the discalced Carmelite. This religious order has played a very important role in the history of the Indian Church from the 16th century. At present, there are 8 discalced Carmelite provinces in India, besides other administrative units. I belong to the Manjumal province in Kerala, the south of India, and which is today the largest province in the whole order present in 80 countries. In its 150 years of existence, Our province has been instrumental in the hands of God in building the church of the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh as well as in Indonesia. As a result, the order also is blessed with two more provinces in these regions. At present, we have one mission in African country of Zambia, and an Indian mission in Odisha. Today, I would like to share with you about the Indian mission in Odisha. We discussed Carmelites arrived in the northeastern Indian state of Odisha in the year 1989. Our first task was the spiritual direction of the discalced Carmelite nuns. Soon, it paved the way for undertaking the mission of the locality. Our presence has been of so much relevance that a village of Sinturapalli at Chhatrapur in Odisha is renamed as Carmel Nagar. The mission that has celebrated its silver jubilee is under the heavenly patronage of the Carmelite Saint Teresa of Lisieux. Our mission work is concentrated in 6 communities of 2 parishes. Each parish is comprised of 25 to 30 villages. In most of these villages, we do not have churches. We celebrate the Holy Mass and other sacraments in the homes of the faithful or in the open air. The people of our mission are mostly farmers. Farmers not having their own land to cultivate on. In a normal village, most of the land will be owned by a landlord, and the majority of the people have to depend on him for their living. During the dry season, when there is no work, these poor people are forced to take loans from their landlords to make both ends meet. They will never be able to pay back these loans. As a result, they end up as bonded laborers, forced to work to pay back all their debts. Normal wage for a man is just $5 or $6 for a day, and for a woman only 4, which is barely sufficient enough for their daily food. From the very beginning, we wanted to provide education to the children of our mission, as it is the preliminary requirement for their social liberation. It was not possible to start schools in all these small villages. Hence, we have schools in our parish centers where we gather together the children from all these small villages and give them food, education, and clothing. They remain with us all through the academic year, and during the vacation, they go back to their own homes. Religious sisters from various congregations help us with the education and care for these children. People of our mission live mostly in mud houses, thatched with palm leaves. During the rainy season, waters arise high, and along with it, so many poisonous snakes and reptiles move into their houses. So, in order to protect them from these creatures, people have to move out of their houses. They come and stay with us in our schools and parish centers. This situation gets worse on account of the cyclones each year that leaves the people deprived of their poor homes they had. The cyclone Fani that hit Odisha in May this year destroyed nearly 400 houses near to one of our monasteries. The housing program that we started about 10 years ago has to achieve a lot more to provide secure homes to these poor people. I can go on long time narrating like that all the work that we do in our mission. But I hope you know what a mission is and its various needs. Let me give you a breakdown about how your donation will make a difference in the lives of the people we serve. $10 will help us to feed a child for a week. $50 can provide vaccinations against the dangerous malaria for 5 children. $50 can provide school supplies for a child. $100 will take care of the entire school year's expenses for a child. $500 will help to support a poor family in their basic needs for a month. $1,000 will help us to provide entire year's supply of medicine for our mobile clinic. $1,500 can help us to put a borewell in one of our villages, giving them access to clean drinking water. This is a dire need of the area as well, a financially difficult one since borewells need to be very deep. Again, $2,000 can help us to build a chapel in one of our villages. $3,000 would help us to build a better home for a poor family. Dear friends, all these needs are the concrete prayers of the people this mission raises to God as they say, "Give us this day our daily bread." We can enable them to have this experience of God as we share with them. For there we acknowledge we are all the children of one God, the Father. So on behalf of the poor people of the Odisha mission, I appeal to your generous spiritual support through your prayers. The second collection of today will be a concrete way to respond to the various needs I pointed out earlier. Let us make it the best collection ever. If you are not prepared today, you can make the check out to the St. Bernard Church with the memo for the Carmelite mission. And your pastor will make sure that it reaches the Carmelite missions. On behalf of Carmelites and the people who are going to benefit from your donation and prayers, I thank each and every one of you for this opportunity. God bless you abundantly. Thank you.
Can you imagine, because here in this country, on every block there's a Catholic, maybe half the block is Catholic. People will, if they aren't Catholic, say, well, I'm not Catholic, but my neighbor is. There's Catholics everywhere here. But in these countries, there's 1 out of 20 people are Catholic. So they're missionaries in basically a Hindu and Islamic world, and very alone, very small communities that they're trying to build and share. So I really admire all missionaries, but especially missionaries in this portion of the world. So whatever we give will be a strength and support. Father's here preaching in 3 parishes over this month, and so hopefully among these 3 parishes they'll get enough to help sustain them in their work over this next year, especially. Also, Father, in his homiletic portion, mentioned something that directly applies to Mikhail, and I know he's sound asleep right now. Thank you, Mikhail. We love it when you're sleeping. But he mentioned that we are supposed to follow Jesus, and this getting into the kingdom is about recognizing Jesus and then looking like him. And so baptism is precisely this. It is entering the waters of death and resurrection, There's a dying of sin. We say through our baptism, we want to push sin out of our lives and embrace Jesus Christ and come through him into a new life. And so as a Makeo grows, and how will he do this? It'll be through his parents and godparents. You are the most important people in this church building this morning for him. It isn't me, it's not Father, it's not the whole rest of the community, even the rest of the whole family. You're the ones who said, Makeo, just look at me, look at us. We're going to teach you what it means to follow Jesus Christ. And the greatest compliment that, well, you've seen the commercials where they say sometimes men and women married, after 40 years, they begin to look like each other. Sorry, don't want to upset anybody out there, but they even have commercials where some people, their dogs begin to look like their dogs. You've seen those commercials? Well, what are we supposed to look like because of baptism? Jesus Christ. Supposed to look like him in attitude, in the ways that we live our lives. So this is the chance that Makeo gets to come into this new life of faith through baptism.